Hello everyone out there in internet land, Cajun here with the new LackeyBot feature, the Uploadable Custom Database. So I've added a feature to LackeyBot where you're able to take one of your MSC sets, upload a file to LackeyBot, and it will be able to process it and actually read and fetch those cards on Discord, anywhere in any of the servers that it's in. There are a few limitations to keep in mind. Each person can only get one setup at a time. You're able to change it later, but only one at a time. The maximum set size is 500 cards right now. We might look into seeing if we expand that, but I think 500 is fine. That's more than enough for your typical cube, and we just don't want to overload the bot and have a chance of just bringing the whole thing down because the files are getting too big. And each set has to have a unique set code. Now your set code doesn't have to be a 3 or 4 letter code, so right now my set code is in here as Monsters of Chikyu. So you can have like the full name in there if someone has already taken the set code that you want. And these set codes only have to be unique within the custom database. So if you want to change your set code to war, that's fine. It's not going to cause any issues anywhere. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to walk through the steps on how to upload your own set here and show you some tricks that you can do within the MSC file to modify how this shows up. So what we want to do is, first of all the commands that we're using here are going to be in LackeyBot's DMs rather than somewhere in the servers, and they're going to use the question mark prefix. And so what we want to do is do a fetch help. So this is going to give us the basic commands to set up the set for LackeyBot. So this command right here is called fetch setup, and it's going to be what we need to start with. So let's just paste that in here. And then I actually want my code to just be mon, so we'll change that. And we'll set the long name to Monsters of Chikyu. And we'll leave me as a designer. Now for PS Link, what we want to do is come over to our Plane Sculptors page. And then this was uploaded earlier today by using what I'm going to show you. So prove that it does work. And then we want this URL right here. Under copy image URL, not the permalink, the image URL, this last link here. Now that we've copied that, it doesn't matter which card you get, any card in the set will be fine, because it's just finding these two numbers. And then we will enter that. Now it's changed my set code to Mons, that was available. It's made the other changes. And so now what we can do is use these curly brackets here, and we can see if Gym Leader is in the set. And there she is, same as she is right there. All good to go. Okay, now what we want to do is go back to that command here and get this Dropbox link here. This is an export template for MSE that's going to help us make the file to tell LackeyBot how to actually make our cards. So you'll go to this link, download it, unzip it, put it into your MSE data file, just like every other template you have. Then the next time you restart MSE, what you'll have is right here, this LackeyBot exporter. But first we're going to look at a few notes within the set file. Within your set file, your card names need to be unique. If you have multiple cards with the same name, what will happen when LackeyBot sets up your set, it will overwrite one of the cards. The exception to this is that promos with this purple rarity and tokens are under a slightly different system within LackeyBot, so if you have a promo and a token and a regular card all with the same name, LackeyBot will handle that just fine. But in regular cards, just in your common, uncommon, rare, it does have the name uniqueness like Plane Sculptors does. And then with this purple rarity here, there will be two setups that you can use later on, where you either set this as a promo card and it will show the rarity as special, or as a bonus card like the time spiral, time shifted sheet, where it will show as a B. And then later on, once I have the pack system working, those will show up in packs. Then if we go, so Tunnel Mills here, this was a card that was designed by Philippe Sainer rather than myself. So what we can do here is add Philippe's name down here at the bottom, and then there will be a check in the exporter that will look at this little space here for a name, and it will credit this person instead of you. Then Forest here. So some sets will have multiple basics, and like I said before, if you have two forests, one's going to overwrite the other. And probably you don't want that. So what we can do instead is use this command or this tag from other exporters that we have, exclamation point export name, and then maybe we call this forest A, and then we'll call the next one forest B. And so both of those will actually show up in the bot, and you'll be able to call both of them. I've only got the one, so we're not going to do that for this card. We will look at Maple's journal here, though. So just to kind of show the changes that are happening, we're going to make this an export name of Pokedex. Then the second thing we're going to do is add some notes. So exclamation point note. Now there's one note that does something specific, and that is italic, if I can spell. So if you have this right here, note italic, it will italicize this name when it shows up in the bot. And then if you add a comma and no spaces, you can add other notes here. So let's just go with other for now. And with these tags, all they do right now is that you can search them by using the Scryfall filters with the is function. So I can show that off real quick here in the MSEM database, since that's the only one that has notes set up right now. If we search for her, we get Herald of Heroes. But if we search for her, Scryfall pipe is italic. We will get a card that matches her and is italic, so her Ascension. And so we'll check that when we upload this. I am working on improving LackeyBot's draft engine right now. Hopefully kind of the main goal here is to have LackeyBot set up as a draft bot that's a little bit smarter than the Planesculptors bot. And LackeyBot's draft engine is it's a little bit more dynamic, I suppose, than Planesculptors. You'll be able to do more like draft matter stuff. It is done entirely through Discord, though. The UI isn't great, I recognize, so we'll see where that goes. But ideally, in the future, we'll be able to add notes like Archon here. Make it easier for LackeyBot to do its job as a draft bot. We'll see how that goes. But for now, we're just going to do this, our note italic and our note other. And then we've got Philippe down here. And then we are going to, this button here is our export HTML, LackeyBot. So this first one here is just some help, just to remind you of the things that I've said here. And then you got your set code. You want this to be the same thing you gave to LackeyBot over here. Default designer, whatever you want your name to be as. And then here's this first check mark where the special rarity is listed as a promo or a bonus. Check designers if you want to check down here for designers. And then export images. So if you have this at Cockatrice Export and either JPEG or PNG, that will upload Planesculptors just fine. That's how I uploaded this one to test that out. And this also has the Lackey extension, or you can do them both. Takes a little bit longer, of course, but you can do that. Since we've already got the images for this set, I'm just going to check that to no. And then one last thing is I'm going to remove that special extreme speed, because in my case that's not a promo, I'm just testing out a new frame, so we'll remove that. And then we'll just save this here. Doesn't matter what this is named, just that it's a TXT. And we'll replace it. It's pretty speedy. Now we'll go back to Discord over here. And with the question mark fetch upload command, we will upload that file we just made, mon.txt. Then you'll see down here Lackey will start typing and process the file. So it's reading the file and uploading everything. So now it's been uploaded. Alright, jump cut to the future. We had a bit of a bug here that I've just fixed. And so we're going to check here that Maple's journal is reading here properly. And then we're going to, these are the notes that we just added for you. Export name Pokedex, no italic other. Let's re-export this real quick. Select all. Get rid of that extreme speed. And then again, upload this with fetch upload. LackeyBot's reading it. And now if we search for Pokedex, now it's coming up, and the name is italic there. If we search for OK, yeah, we get Pokemon World there. So if we search for OK is italic, see that we get Pokedex, and the same thing if we search OK is other, which was that other note that we put on there, it also gets Pokedex. Now, a thing to note here is that over time, as the database fills up, obviously some names are going to get repeated since they don't have to be unique. And so over time, it might make it harder and harder to actually call your own cards. And so a system that I've put in place here, here it is that LackeyBot will give you a score boost to your own cards. So you see that Fluffy here has searched for BA and has gotten a card from his set, Law. And then I've searched the same thing, but I've gotten a card from my set. And then I'll be doing a similar system for the CM project channels. Right now I don't have a good way to automate that without having people able to grief the system and set random channels as their own channel. So right now it's just a mod command. I'm gonna regret this, I know, but if when you're doing your fetch help and there's nothing in there for how to set up a channel yet, ping me. I've got the admin command to set it up for you. Possibly I'll give it to the other admins too. That I don't see an issue with that. But do check fetch help first, and if there is a better system in place in the future, use that. But that's what we'll go with for now. One thing to note here is that we have updated the database. We've changed its name to Pokedex, but we haven't updated the plane sculptors. So if I try to do the image call here, before we saw that it worked, it no longer works because this Pokedex image doesn't exist in this set. So every time you do this fetch upload, if you've changed your images, you want to also update plane sculptors. And I think that's it. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be around, so let me know.